evening, everybody. It is Tuesday, June 18th, 6:30 p.m. We are meeting here in the Selectmen's Room for a meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals. I'd like to call this meeting to order and welcome a motion to open.
I'll make a motion that we open the meeting.
Second that.
Motion a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We do have minutes from May 28th to be approved.
I'll make a motion to pass them as read.
You got a motion and a second. Does anyone need any more time on these, or are we ready to vote? All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Do we have meeting mail that you haven't distributed? I know you gave us a copy of these that came in. And we're just going to jump right into our new business and our cases. The first case, number 2024-0528A, is a continuance of the case of Wendy and Alexander Barrows of 23 Morses Lane, petitioning the board to convert a one-family house into a two-family dwelling on a lot with a minimum 3,000 square foot. 30,000 square foot. Thank you again. This request being made under the provisions of section 334B5. I will start with last week, not last week, but the last meeting. We continued this to allow them to kind of change this application from a two-family into a in-law apartment or accessory apartment, as the bylaws call for. The accessory apartment is less of a unit and less restrictive, but something they could do, because the two-family is something that has to be in existence already and can't be built. So if we do vote for this evening, it would be, I'm going to let them speak as well, but we're changing this to an accessory apartment, which is just a straightforward, a special permit, okay? So there's not a variance, there's not a this, it's a special permit for an accessory apartment on this property. So, Mr. Barrows, whoever wants
If I
to.
may approach, give you guys a copy of this.
Yep.
I have a copy, I'm gonna just give them back to Andy, but you
Yep.
can keep them, yes.
So the last time we were here, I was over the restriction with the bylaws. I would think I was over the 25%. I think the bylaws call for 25%. So since then, we found out what the total square footage of the dwelling that is in existence now, which is 2072. But I'm adding on to my residence, which is the 200 square footage,
Sure.
which gives me 2,200 and some change. We dropped that, we reduced the addition down to 25%. And that drawings that you have in front of you represents the actual 25% of my property that I have now. So that puts me in the guidelines of the bylaws.
Very good.
25%.
The plan looks great to me. It's a nice, neat plan that fits in with the neighborhood fine. I know you've been working hard over the past month. We don't have a lot of measurements or the application on this showing all the square footage. So what I'm going to do is, not to push this off again, is if everybody's comfortable with the drawings, as I am, as I told you, I would appreciate when Andy came in if he knew that it fit the 25%. He says he hasn't done the calcs on it, but I think we're okay to approve it, pending that it does. If you know where I'm coming from. And Andy's here tonight, so it makes it great. You're comfortable with that, right?
Absolutely.
Because basically all it's going to do, he's going to calculate the square footage with the addition, everything, give you the 25% and, push it. And then when you start your construction, it's him who inspects it and makes sure it complies as we're building it as well. So,
I'll make a motion.
I was just going to say, again, that's what we asked for at the last meeting.
Exactly, yep. Second.
The plans look great. I don't have all the numbers. So the motion that you'd be making would be to approve the special permit for an in-law apartment, providing that the in-law apartment fits within the 25% rule.
Make that motion.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. So moved.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Good luck. Enjoy.
Yeah, I didn't have a chance. They were dropped off this morning, and it was one of those days.
No problem, and
Yeah,
if a little tweak needs to be made to make them work, as long as they work.
I think we're there.
So I'm gonna have you sign,
So,
could you go over all the
we're just gonna give Kara a second to go over the paperwork before we start the next hearing.
File with the registry after that. So you sign that one, and then I'll give you the
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Do I have to sit down there? Bob? Are you recusing yourself? Do I have to sit on there?
I mean, once you recuse yourself, if you do, that's, when it sits up to you, but
No, that's fine.
once you do, I'll have to let them know that we're now board four, and make sure they want to move forward, but.
Yep, okay.
So that'll become a unanimous requirement, right? It changes dramatically.
Petitioning the board to be able to park, so they're looking for a variance. So they need 4 out of 4 for variance. All right. Our next case, number 2024-0618A, is a case of Richard Freites of 65 Wing Road, petitioning the board to be able to park a commercial vehicle on the property due to its mixed use. Mr. Freites?
Yeah, yes, good evening, but first of all, what is the mixed use? I mean, all I'm doing is looking to keep the truck that's been there.
I'd like to correct you on the mixed use as well. I'm reading what it says here,
Yeah, I don't know where that came up,
okay?
how it came up.
I would assume it had to be on the application, but,
I didn't put it on the application.
This is home and business for,
Okay,
use
so-
of premises.
on the application itself, which I should have.
That's right there.
Yeah. Reason for petitioning, unnecessary fines for parking commercial vehicles in my yard, which bylaw states it allows. Building inspector says zoning board meets them allowed use. In the present use of premises, you put home and business. So home and business means mixed use. You're not saying it's residential, you're not saying it's business, you're saying it's mixed use. So that's why she wrote it that way.
Yeah, well, I know it is residential, but I've been through this before 12, 15 years ago, to leave the truck, keep the truck on that property.
Okay, that's where I was gonna get to. It's what you're using it for and what the property is, like you said, it is two different things. It is a residential neighborhood, it falls under residential, it doesn't matter how long ago you started doing something else, the property's still residential. If you were running a business there 60 years ago, then that business might be grandfathered. But that's something that, I don't see any evidence of, but you can certainly present some. So anyways, the mixed use, the reason it says that on the application is because you put down home and business. But, as we said, we know that 65 Wing Road is a residential property.
Yes.
So
it is.
you're parking commercial vehicles on it. The bylaw does state you can park one ton on it, one commercial vehicle on it. So, has there been more? Is that the issue?
Well, I mean, my other son has a trucking business, which they kept down here on Main Street, and I do work for him part-time, and I come and go. I mean, I went in there for lunch 2 or 3 times, because I was working at the Keating plant, and I got a ticket from Andy.
Okay.
2 or 3 tickets. I was doing some welding out there, and I got a ticket. I'm just getting tickets like it's going out of style.
All right, but your application says you're looking to park a vehicle,
Right,
right?
right.
But what I'm hearing is you're doing welding and work on the vehicles on the property.
I do a couple of things here and there. In the last year, how many times have I welded? Once or twice. But I think that's neither here nor there because...
Well, it actually is. I know where you're coming from. You're just a guy with a truck who needs some repair. But when you repair your equipment on your property, it's a business use. It becomes a business. And I'm not saying you can't do it with a special permit or something. What I'm saying is that Andy is doing his job by saying that, and I want to go out and say, I don't think Andy's driving around looking for it. We have neighbor complaints. That's your problem. So when you're in a residential neighborhood and your neighbors are saying you're doing commercial work, Andy has to go out there, observe what he sees. And if he's out there observing you're welding on commercial vehicles, commercial equipment, it's a commercial or a business use. So that's where we're having the issue.
All right, that's where we're at there. But as far as coming and going with a buddy or a son or something else to pull in for a half an hour or an hour, I mean, I can't do that. I'm getting a ticket for that.
In a tractor trailer? No, you can't.
Oh, I can.
No. No, you're free to drive anywhere all over town you want in a regular vehicle, but in a tractor trailer, no, you can't pull onto private property in a residential neighborhood just to hang out and be there. It's not
Really?
allowed.
That's strange.
Even if they have just one vehicle?
Again, you're allowed one commercial vehicle per lot.
Registered.
What he's saying is if he's there and his buddy with another tractor comes and pulls in, he's just hanging out, it's just there, he's not gonna work on them, but, and again, I'm not the neighbor complaining about it, but when you have a neighbor complaining about it, Andy has to do his job.
It's pretty hard to believe, but if that's what you guys say, I guess that's what it's gonna be.
Andy, can you
right?
spell it out any better than me? I think I'm close to,
You're on the same page as
It's-
I am.
and again, he's not driving down the street
Thank you.
saying, there's 2 trucks in that yard, I gotta pull in. He's responding, which he's required to by law, the neighbor complaints, saying that you're doing this. I don't know if they would complain if you did it one time a month, but it appears to be enough of a nuisance to them that they're sending letters to town hall
So
and
I'll
calling
just-
the building department.
I guess I just pull up and park in the street then and walk to the house, right? That's okay.
You can't park on a public way with a tractor trailer either.
Really?
It's,
A lot of rules. Yeah, okay, I won't do that then. But as far as the one truck there, that's all right?
you can, the bylaw states that one commercial vehicle may be parked on a property.
May I interject,
Please.
Mr. Chairman? This is an 18-wheeler, okay? This isn't a landscaping trailer or a carpenter's truck, plumber's truck.
With a commercial plate.
This is an 18-wheeler.
Yeah.
A lot of times has refrigerated boxes that run 20 on, 20 off. Diesel fuel that's going into neighbors' properties at this time of the year can't open their windows. This isn't, I'm gonna go see Mr. Freites and send him another ticket. What I've tried to do is express my concerns. Mr. Freites has not agreed with me, and that's his right. What I have also done is I have ticketed at $50 an offense when the bylaw says it can be $300 an offense. I'm not trying to, make life miserable for the Freights family, but it's running downhill. Neighbors are up to their ears with this.
So, the issue, Mr. Freites, isn't that you've got a one-ton truck that you go to work with and stuff. It's that you're running a tractor trailer that is a business, and you're parking it at home, and your neighbors don't like it. If you were here to, and I'll ask the neighbors for their input and stuff if there are any here. If you were here and you weren't upsetting your neighbors, we would listen and we could say, hey, listen, he's pulling one truck in and out and his neighbors don't mind, we're gonna allow it. But we're here because we're after the fact and the neighbors are already up in arms and complaints. So there's not a lot the board can do to reprieve the situation for you. It's that the use isn't allowed.
Want to see them with the neighbors? We don't know which neighbors, for what.
I want to let him have anything else, and then I will ask the floor. Obviously, I'm assuming with letters there are abutters here who'd like to speak.
Yeah, well, I guess I'm not gonna get much further with, this, so, yeah, I guess listen to what they got to say, and, we'll go from there.
Okay. Are there neighbors who would like to speak?
What's the nature of the business on the property? So I see present use of premises, home and business on the application.
I drove by, it seems like a house that he just parks his truck at when he's not working, right?
But the barn in the back used to be a plumber back in the day. We'd
Yeah.
keep this stuff in there. He'd go in and out of that for long times, when I was a kid.
Let's let the neighbors speak on what's going on. And
I've never been to a meeting, I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
No, you speak
Introduce
freely,
myself.
but if you could start by telling us your name and address, please.
Sure, no problem. Ray Vieira, V-I-E-I-R-A, and I live at 51 Wing Road, 2 houses over from Mr. Freites. I've complained to his son, well, actually, I was so tired, I just moved here 4 years ago. And I want to say I had only been there a short period of time, maybe 6 months to a year. And I noticed there was a lot of work going on. Trees were cleared out and everything else on that property where he is now. And I thought somebody was putting up a house. Well, basically was the back is a garage, back of the property, and there was a lot of work going on there. And I was getting aggravated. Sunday mornings, banging and banging and banging and banging like a sledgehammer hitting I don't know what, a metal truck of some sort. I never went and investigated, but I just got tired of it. So what I did was I watched for a while, and tractor trailer come in, go down, so I take pictures, just so I could have them in case something come up. And I'm sorry, I get COPD, so I have a hard time talking. So I was approached after I took a few pictures. I see this white truck come pouring out of that same property. I was just walking in the house and pulls in my driveway. I thought it was going to go right through my garage. And I come walking out. I says, "Can I help you with something?" And it wasn't Mr. Freites. I believe it was his son. I'm not sure because, like I say, I'm not familiar with Mr. Freites or his kids. But anyway, the guy approaches me and he starts running his mouth for whatever reason, and I said, "What the hell's your problem?" He says, "You taking pictures?" I says, "Yeah." I said, I'm sick of the baloney, with the trucks all the time. I said, "You guys come out of there." I said, "There's rocks all over the place. I have to sweep my, front of my house. I've got a beautiful home, beautiful grass, everything. I put a lot of hours in there, sprinkler system, the whole nine. And I gotta go clean the rocks from his property that are stuck under the 18-wheelers, and as he pulls out, he's pulling up rocks, I'm sure, in between the treads, and they all end up in the street, and most of the time in front of my house. So I'm out there probably 10, 12 times, 15 times a week, a month, excuse me, to get my area cleared up. And it just keeps going on. So I told the guy what I thought. I says, "How would you like all this stuff in front of your house?" I says, "You wouldn't like it." So we had a few words back and forth. And he ends up leaving. About 15 minutes later, he comes knocking at the door, ringing the bell, and I says, "What's your problem now?" He says, "I just want to let you know, I see the wheelbarrow out in front." He says, "Hey, I swept up the front," he says, "for all these rocks." I says, "You don't have to do my work." I says, "I have no problem with it, just go the other way if you can," you know what I mean? I said, "I'm just tired of picking up after you." So that kind of let go, and now, quite a while, nothing's happened. But I don't want to say every day, quite often, I see his truck come in, beautiful truck. Lately, up until I got this notice for the meeting, just prior to that Jake break, at 8:30, 9 o'clock, when you're trying to watch TV with your windows open, and all you hear is that bum, 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 bum. I'm like, who the hell uses a Jake break on Wing Road as they're making a turn into their property? So I get out of here, you know, and it really pisses me off, to be honest with you. So I go to take pictures of something so I can have pictures again in case this happens here. And you want to see one? I got a couple of pictures on me now. You're going to see a red truck there, you're going to see a trailer, you're going to see a trailer. And it's not just that. Hey, maybe they're his friends. Everybody's entitled to have friends. I have no problem with that. I have friends over at my house, they park in my driveway, not a problem. But the trucks that go there, they work on the trucks. He is not going to tell me, I'll argue till I'm blue in the face, there's not a chance in the world he's working on just his trucks alone. Unless he has 4, 5, 6 trucks, and that's where he's doing his work. I think he's running the business, my opinion. You got dump trucks, you know, the regular dump truck, that when they go, well, I got a big dip in front of my house because of the road they never fix. But every time one of his trucks come by there, well, other trucks too, not just his, but I've seen the truck come out of his place. He's got a black truck, big black 18-wheeler, I guess it is, with a yellow stripe or reddish stripe, I'm not sure, and a different cab. The truck that he's probably talking about, he's got a beautiful red truck. I love it. Sounds great, looks beautiful, but he's always pulling a huge trailer that's probably the longest one you get, 48 or 50. I don't even know if they get bigger than that. But every day they leave and they come back. Not every day, I'm sorry, probably twice a week from what I've seen. They leave, they come back. They're back at 8 o'clock, 8:30, 9 o'clock. It's already dark out. You can't hear nothing with the Jake brake, dropping stuff all over the place. And it seems like they're not really, I wave to them just to be a nice guy, hey, maybe we'll get on the good side. It's like you're not even there, they don't care. They care about nothing but their business that they got going. And like I say, besides that, they got a regular dump truck, the kind that drop blacktop. That's there quite often. Don't know if it's a friend going to say hello, but once they're there and they're banging stuff all over the place, the garage is open, you got a tractor trailer here, you got a tractor trailer there, you got a trailer sitting over here, you got a dump truck. I'm like, what the hell did I paid $400,000 for my house, which is a lot of money 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and it's still a lot of money today. And I'm so sorry I bought a house there because of that particular thing. But let me back up a second. When they said they cleared off the property and they were working on the garage, then I said, well, I thought somebody was going to put a house there, no. But I think kind of like a decoy, they bring in a modular home. I see them pour a cement slab, they put up, one part of the house and the next part of the house. And very seldom I saw anybody there for a long time. And I was saying, what the hell is this house for? Then I started thinking, oh, it's probably to make people think it's a house, but it's actually a business that he's running. And like I say, for the amount of work that comes out of there, not so much since we got this notice that this meeting was being held, everything stopped. I don't see more trucks around. I see the trucks, but I don't see other stuff in and out, in and out, in and out. I don't know what to tell you, but it aggravates the hell out of me that I have to go through this. No peace. Guy next door to me, same thing. Guy across the street just bought a house. They pull out of his truck. I've seen it myself. They pull this huge, 48, 50 foot truck, tractor trailer. I seen him drive right over the guy's driveway and park me in his grass. Not that he has beautiful grass, but it don't make any difference. It's his grass, not his. You know what I mean? I don't know what else to tell you other than it's aggravating as hell to go through this.
Thank you.
And like I say, when I told the guy, if it was in front of your house, what would you do? He didn't even have to answer because I could tell by the look on his face. But I thank you for the time. Mr. Freites, I'm sorry if I aggravated you. You're Mr. Freites, right?
Yeah, I'm Mr. Freites.
Okay.
You know, what was your name again?
Ray.
Ray.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
Rick Ray. What really gets me here is that you live, I know where you live, of course, but
Guys.
right behind you, you have 6, 8 trucks. That doesn't bother you?
Why would it bother me? They're not throwing anything in front of my house and making all
Guys,
kinds of noise or working in there.
the meeting needs to come through up here, and
You know, I'm not here to.
the one-on-one isn't what we're here for. Any other neighbors would like to,
Yeah.
please?
So, my name is Jamie Pimentel, with the Trantham family. I live on 60, I'm literally directly across the street from him. Sam Trantham used to come here all the time, that was my grandfather. So, yeah, probably you know him, but either way, I got zero issues. I'm sure everybody's gonna have their own opinions about it. And, I mean, at one point, I could hear it in the morning, but I could always tell that he was trying to be quiet. You know, me living directly across the street, I have zero issues with it. It's, you know, so I don't really understand all of it. To me, he's doing his own thing. You know, I got a commercial vehicle. I work for a fire alarm company. So what's the difference? He's not running a business. He's just working on his vehicle. So I don't really understand it. So me directly across the street from him, I have no issues whatsoever. The guy he's respectful. He's living there. He's out on his porch on his own, doing his own thing. You know, I don't see a problem with it.
I appreciate your input as well. Just the fact of running a business, just so everybody's aware, he doesn't necessarily have to be working on these trucks for paying customers, but he owns the trucks and trucking is his business. If he's working on them, it's part of that business.
So what's the difference with my fire alarm company vehicle?
You can't take your fire alarm company from your work and bring them vehicles home and work on them. You can't do it. It's not legal.
That's interesting. Okay, I know.
I'm not saying that it doesn't happen. I'm saying if the neighbors are complaining about it, it's become a problem and it's not legal.
It's not me to blame.
This,
My name is Pat Daigle. I am at 64 Wing Road, directly across from their property. I've been there for 37 years.
okay?
35 years ago, I was upstairs because there was issues. They had a business there. There were 4 or 5 tractor-trailer trucks, and there was a business with tires and everything. And they were talking, so we had a problem with that. That was taken care of. And then and because there were no minutes to this other meeting that happened about 12 to 15, 18 years ago, and it was told us, because we all went, because they wanted 2 trucks at the time. At that time, there was nobody there. The property was overgrown, and they had the 1 truck there. They wanted to have 2. So we went, and because there was nobody around, we really didn't want all that. We were all told that night they could have 1 commercial vehicle. And I'm gonna say this, I live right there. I do not sit in my window like other folks might do and watch everything. But I worked all that time, but I can see what goes on. And I can also see that I don't hear anything anymore, and my bedroom is in the front. His son goes out sometimes at 4 a.m. in the middle of the night, whatever. I do not hear it. I can't hear a thing. I didn't even know he would come in it sometimes, because he's very considerate of his neighbors. Excuse me, I'm speaking.
I'm sorry, excuse me.
And if somebody has some grass cut, well, I'm gonna tell you, that's been like that for 30 years, all that I can't even grow grass on my property because there's so much sand. But they have. And my question to this board is, if this has been okay up until the time they put their house there, which was, I don't know,
2019.
Okay, 2019, that everything was fine. And there were never any problems about the other building inspector coming in and having meetings about anything. They were fine, everything was good there. I don't understand why now there's so many complaints. Now, Mr. Frakes did clear his property. He cleared probably, I'm just giving you a little bit of background. He cleared his property in the back, and that seems to be when everything started. And unfortunately, yeah, you do end up seeing things that you may not want to see. And I mean, I wouldn't want somebody to put up a fence on my side of the property, but things change over the years. What I'm saying is they have been very considerate. They're very considerate to me. They don't even come out the driveway in front of my house. They have been very good neighbors, and that's all I want. If you have any questions for me, but I have been here for all 3 of the meetings over the last 30 years for that property. And to me, this is above and beyond, not necessary.
I appreciate your input as well. So I'm not trying to say we have numerous complaints. We have one, and the building inspector's doing his job. I'm very happy to hear that from the other side of the fence, that there isn't as much issue as what it seems from one. But let's hear from the rest of the room.
How you doing? Josh Hedges, 18 Village Ave. I live directly behind them. I will say recently, like we had a meeting, recently things have gotten better as far as noise and stuff like that. There was some work where they were backing all the way back to the wall and doing work. They do work on multiple trucks out of that garage. It's not like a park and, drive and park kind of thing. Like there's work going on those vehicles. Like I said, they have been better recently, but as far as just yesterday, there was two trucks there getting work done. A residential area is a residential area. You want to stop bending for one person or the other person, what's the point of having a residential or commercial zone? What's the difference then? We all live in a residential area because we don't want to live near all this stuff. And if I'm getting woken up, if I can't open my windows, it's make all the noise you fucking want. I don't care. Hey, this is going on. This has been going on. It's not.
Keep it to the board, please.
Yes, it's not like this is. I've only done this once. I've done this twice. I get it. People are trying to make money. People are trying to live. I got this little plot of land. That's all I have, and I should be able to go outside and enjoy my time there. I shouldn't have to worry about someone banging on something, someone running the truck. I just think if the laws are there, the rules are there, stand by them instead of animosity getting caused between neighbors. I don't think it should go that far.
Before we continue on, I just want to clarify something. So we have, when you come before the board, you're asking us to vote on something, usually to approve something. Essentially, this petition is asking us to approve something which does not need approval. So what are we actually voting on?
It certainly does. What they're asking for is the addition to park more than one vehicle.
No. What I'm reading here is for parking commercial vehicle in my yard.
Well, then again, see, they're asking to park an 18-wheeler, which isn't, if you look up the definition, I didn't bring my book. Can I check into yours real quick here?
Yeah.
I believe the definition says 1 ton maximum or something like that.
It is in the bylaws, yes. It is in the bylaws.
As 1 ton?
To 1 ton.
1 ton.
And-
So commercial vehicle means basically what happens is you're a plumber, you're a carpenter, you're an electrician, you have your half-ton, you have your 3/4 ton, you have your 1 ton pickups. They're registered commercially, they have stickers on them. That's the max, is the 1 ton. We've actually brought it to a point where it was still just a dually, a little oversized, but the 1500s or whatever they were, the 4500s versus, yeah, the 50s, the C50s, them aren't even within the 1 ton, and they're not allowed. So when you talk about a tractor trailer, they don't meet the requirement of that
All right.
commercial vehicle.
So the petition just isn't clear. We're
So-
trying to approve a little more.
So we could approve for more than one, or we could approve for the 18-wheeler, but that would require the support of the surrounding neighborhood type of thing.
Okay, now we
It's clear that it's not just the parking going on, so I don't think we're really considering it, because the problem isn't that one truck was going out and the neighbors across the street don't mind it. It's that you're backing them trucks in and working on them. And I have, one of my best friends is an 18-wheeler mechanic, and I spend plenty of time in his shop. We went all through mechanic school together. I know what it sounds like when you're working on that heavy stuff. You gotta beat it, and you gotta loosen that stuff, and you got impact wrenches that are 3/4 inch drive, and they make a lot of noise. It's not conducive to a business that the guy behind them with this half-acre lot can tolerate. So the application isn't non-legit. We can talk about it, and we can grant it, we can not grant it. But what needs to be known is that the business cannot operate as a business that these trucks go into, multiple trucks, not just one, but multiple, and get repaired. You can't repair your own vehicles on your own land if that's a business truck. The parking of the commercial truck is one thing. The repair of it is an entirely different animal. So, I do have someone who wants to speak, and I want to give her an
Rose
opportunity.
Varro, 14 Village Avenue. I live directly behind Mr. and Mrs. Freights. I have no problem. I'm outside in my backyard every single day. I do hear a little bit of noise. It doesn't bother me. I have my windows open. When I first moved in 28 years ago, the property was loaded with trees, all kinds of stuff. He cleared the property. It looks beautiful back there. We have no more mosquitoes. It's gorgeous. Can I ask you guys a question?
Absolutely.
Have any of you guys gone onto his property and walked his property before this meeting?
I only drove by, not walked on it. I wouldn't walk onto somebody's property without checking with them. I don't have that authority. But I did go by and take a look at it. I see the house, I see the garage out back, I see the trucks on the side of it. Everything's neat.
What,
So
shouldn't
I
all of
looked
you
at it.
guys go and take a look? Because I asked him to come on my property and view Mr. Freights' property from my property, and he couldn't do it. Why?
Because you have a 6-foot fence around your property.
No, I don't. You can go right through the back of my yard.
Andy needs to do his job in a legal matter. There's things he can do, there's things he can't. And the biggest thing he has to deal with is the complaint. He has to go by that complaint and go see if it's a valid complaint, and then issue whatever response he needs to the complaint. And again, I can promise you we wouldn't be here if there wasn't a complaint. That's what it comes down to.
Can you tell the Freights who complained?
Well, they're well aware, the letters are here, and we have the neighbors raising their hands there. You say you live right behind, but he lives right behind.
I live right behind.
And
She doesn't live with me.
he does have a problem, so.
I don't have a problem.
I understand, and I appreciate your input. And your input really goes a long way to me, I don't know about the rest of the board, as far as parking the truck there. But I do have to really get into, even if we allowed him to park the truck there, none of the work that's being done could continue. So that's really what, I think the big issue here is all this work and all the multiple trucks. Not one guy bringing his truck home at the end of his, night, or the end of his 3-day, or at the end of his whatever. There are people in town who have done that and have gotten their neighbors to say it's fine when he comes back from his long haul and he can park his truck in the driveway because that's where he goes home to his kids, and the next day he leaves and he's gone for another week. It does happen, it is allowed, but it can't become a nuisance to the neighbors. And I'm hearing some say that it's not, and I've got equally as many who say it is. That is a problem.
May I give you this here?
Absolutely.
2 weeks ago. That's what you look at, it almost every day. That's one truck that you bring in.
And
Yeah.
as the building inspector said, it is a refrigerated truck. I don't know if it's running or not, but if it is, that's another issue. But the work on the vehicles cannot take place there. It's not the commercial property. This is a commercial operation. This is a business operation. It cannot take place there. I don't know what else.
No, you made it pretty clear.
It's,
The point is, do we have a floor, or wait, somebody gonna
No,
recuse?
I got to recuse myself.
All right, so you're gonna let everybody know that.
I'm sorry, I wasn't aware of that before we started the hearing.
I won't be voting on this, I'm recusing myself because my son is friends with Tommy.
Okay.
He parked his boat at Mr. Freight's house, so it'd be very inappropriate for me to vote on this.
So
Or say anything.
before we go any further and do any voting, I will let the Freights know as the petitioner, and I think, yeah, they're the petitioner. We do have a man down this evening. We have one of our board members who's been hospitalized and can't be with us this evening. So without the
The opposite vote, the odd vote.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say is without him here and one recusal, you have a 4-member committee here. And you need, for any type of, this, you'd be asking for a variance in order to ask to park. So you would need a unanimous vote between the 4 for this to move. So if you wanted to continue to another night, I have to offer you that because I can't give you a 5-man board this evening because you have a friend who's recused himself. So you may choose to ask us to continue this to the next meeting, which we have one coming up in another, or you could choose to ask us to take a vote on this one way or another, and that would be your decision. But I have to let you know that it would just be the 4 of us voting because we have a member who's recused himself as a potential, conflict.
So what are we voting on here to
Well,
park the?
What we would be voting on is you asking to park your tractor trailer there. It does say commercial vehicle here, but it's come very clear to us that it's not a 1-ton truck that's allowed. The truck that you're parking there is not allowed. I'm gonna take this as an application that you're asking for that. That's the best I can do with it.
Well, I mean,
Can I just say a couple of things and I'll sit down?
Absolutely.
So I think what everybody here is looking for clarification of what is allowed and what isn't. And up until tonight, I don't feel they did, because I certainly didn't know that you can't work on a truck, which I understand the language of it now, where if it's a commercial vehicle, even if you're putting air in the tire, you're working on a commercial vehicle.
Correct.
I understand that now. So up until
It's
this
the
time.
operation of a business at that point.
At that point, because that's the fine line. So what we did 15, 18 years ago, what came down, and them being allowed to park a commercial vehicle, which was that truck, that still would not be in existence, even if they didn't do anything else.
Any special permit granted in the past was for that business, for that thing. It doesn't stand with the property
Well, it
through
wasn't.
eternity.
The property
It
was-
goes away as soon as they stop doing it. So let's just say there was actually 3 tractor trailers on that property for 30 years, and it was allowed. Or it was started before 1970, blah, 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 and it was grandfathered. As soon as they stopped doing that, it went away. You got 1 year to continue your operations. Once you abandon your grandfathered rights, they do not come back. You would come back and ask for another
Is it because they
petition.
put a house up? I just want clarification.
No,
How
just
these
the
things
stop,
work.
let's just say from the
Down
time the
to
last
residential.
person stopped operation to the time they started operation, just the transfer of it makes it null and void without coming back through. But the cease of operation really makes it go away.
I just think that a lot of this could have been eliminated if they had known all that information, because nobody
Well,
knows this.
it's
You know what I mean?
here. It's when you buy a piece of property in a residential neighborhood, you gotta do your own due diligence. I think most people know that you can't just up and operate a business any way you want.
No, but if they just parked it there, that's fine.
that's the.
As long as
But
they don't-
again, with an 18-wheeler,
Wash
that's
it,
not
they don't
parking
do
a truck,
anything.
that's operating a vehicle.
That's just-
That's operating a
Even if you're
business.
just pulling it in there and leaving it overnight.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta understand, there's a lot of owner-operators
Oh, I know.
that live in Acushnet.
We have one on the other corner.
There's a lot
Next
of
to Mr. Viera.
So, a lot of them, like, if you go by White's Dairy, you'll see 100 vehicles there.
Yeah, but that's
Because
commercial.
Because they pay to put their trucks there because they have to. That's what you have to
I
do
totally
to live in a
understand.
residential neighborhood and operate. You go to the closest place you can and park your truck there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it comes down to.
May I add, just quickly, I'm sorry, I'm not saying, I'm not complaining because he parks his truck on his property. I think he should be able to, he's got a nice big piece of property, got room to leave there overnight so we can go to work later, whatever the case may be. But it's the work that gets done there. And maybe it's the friends that come and visit that are in and out of here. There's always trucks here, there, and everywhere. You know what I mean? That's what I was complaining about. And of course, it's making a mess all over the place.
So while you're saying that, I'm just gonna speak quickly here and say that the reason for this meeting is to allow the truck to park there or not. I'm hearing a lot of neighbors who are fine with it. I'm hearing you might be fine with it. I don't know about, we can certainly say, and the building inspector will follow up and make sure there is no work done on them premises, and that is only one vehicle there, but that he can allow that one truck. I'm happy to do that, but I'm not happy to do that unless all the neighbors agree on it. So that's what we're here for. The only thing before us this evening is to allow the truck to park there, and
I thought it was for everything else, to be honest with you, you know, with the working in there and the banging that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there should be
Whether
compromise.
it's Saturday or
I'm
Sunday.
sure there's compromise, you know? There should be,
Well,
to
then-
me, there should be a compromise.
I'm here telling you, I'm
Because we don't wanna
open
take away
to
from the guy's
compromise, but
livelihood.
not unless the neighborhood is happy with it.
Right. To me, nothing against you, but I almost feel like we're talking about directly around, you know, and.
I don't think anybody's complaining about them parking it there.
Because
It's the work
certainly-
that goes on in there, the other trucks that are in and out of there 3, 4, 5 times a week.
Let me say this one more time again. The only thing on the plate here tonight is to allow him to park one vehicle, one 18-wheeler, one heavy-duty vehicle on that property at a time. And I believe we have one more, we haven't spoke from, and maybe there's a problem. But-
There's a list of the police logs, and I want you to read the bottom one there. That's after the sergeant's office came and said there was nothing they could do, when they found out they could. All right, and you can see how he,
Well, the police officers aren't really by-law protectors as much as our building inspector is. His
All right,
his
well,
job is
basically
building
throw him off
inspector
the
slash
property.
zoning officer. The zoning officer is who does this, so, and he's doing his job when he does it.
all right, so I'm Steve Madersky, I live at 22 Village Ave, so I'm southeast of them, northeast. So when he runs that rig during the summer, it's usually prevailing wind south or southwest, so I'm getting the smoke at southwest, Eric gets it at south. So accompanied with that is the noise, the banging, so some people say they can't hear it. Well, maybe they're up the street, you know? So
I'm right across the street
Just
and I don't
doesn't,
hear it.
or it just doesn't bother them. Don't get me wrong, a lot of people, that stuff doesn't bother me, because I'm in construction, and I hear it all the time.
I'm taken away from somebody, like, we all have our own properties. Why are we so worried about everybody else?
Because it's interfering with my life,
It's ridiculous.
okay?
Please let him speak.
Sam, you want, yeah, you
Don't
chance.
tell me to sit down, dude.
One at a time, guys.
One at a time.
You have the podium, you have the podium. So, I'd actually like to ask you another question or two.
Go ahead.
Because again, you're a neighbor, this is
Yeah.
bothering you. I'm hearing about the banging, I'm hearing about the, when the truck's running, is it because they're working on them and it's running too
No,
long?
he starts it up, like the other day, he started up 4 times. Now granted, he only ran it for about 15, 20 seconds, but this is in Alaska, there's no reason to keep starting it. But when he does run it, sometimes it's a half hour, and the smoke comes right into my windows or errands, and then he'll back it up to the truck, and then he'll run it again until he makes enough air. And sometimes it's run, before it was even worse. All right, so I mean, as far as that, there's a 5-minute idle law in Mass, which is enforceable.
All right, so again, all I was trying to do is read the room on whether parking one vehicle would be considered. I'm hearing mostly yes, but it sounds like you're still a no, irregardless of any kind of other
Right,
operation.
see, there is no compromise, because he starts doing well, then all of a sudden it's back to the same thing. Well, you say, oh, I get a well for a couple of days, that's 2 weeks, come on. It doesn't belong there, it's residential. And he's got a cease and desist now already.
I think I'd like to hear one more time from Mr. Freites, because obviously your neighbors don't want you working on the stuff over there. You're doing a lot of work, you're getting multiple vehicles. I don't know if you want to talk to them about the possibility of parking a truck, but that's not worth it to you, because if you can't work on it, it doesn't work for you anyway.
No, it's a high-end truck. I want to keep it there.
It's beautiful.
I don't
Beautiful.
want to start trouble, but apparently I am. I mean, I wish these guys
Right.
would have came and seen me or drove
I'm
over
disappointed
there.
to hear that
Guy,
people are wrong.
you really need to let him speak. Can you get to the podium, please?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Mr. Freites, we have to run a meeting here that people, everyone can hear.
Yeah, I wish it wouldn't have got this far, actually, but we're here because it did. So, yes, I do want to park that one vehicle there. I mean, the welding, let's take a year example. I mean, how many times did
It
it
can't
happen?
be-
It's not
Mr. Freites, it can't be
supposed to.
done.
I realize that now.
It can't be done.
I thought because I had a big barn there, I could do as I wanted with my pickup truck or I didn't know. I figured, took it for granted got a garage full of tools, welders, compressors. I've been using it forever. Nobody's ever bitched like this.
I understand.
So, I want to keep the truck there. If I gotta compromise, I will.
There's, on our part, there's no compromise. It's either you can park the truck there or you can't. But all the other stuff related to working on the trucks and the noise can't happen even if we allow you to park the truck there. You
I
gotta
understand.
understand that.
So, how about this motion, make a motion, he's allowed to keep the truck there, that one registered commercial vehicle, and maybe we revisit in 6 months to make sure he maintains that and works with it.
I say like that. We don't generally do that. We allow it or we don't.
Very special.
But I do like the fact
6 months, so
that,
it doesn't happen for 2 weeks.
I
and
do
so we
like
can
the fact
revisit
that-
it and just, get an update.
So what he's gonna do, he's gonna lay low for a couple of weeks, and then when
No,
everything's
6
said
months.
and done, you can look at that thing, there's nothing you can do about
I
it.
said 6 months,
6 months, either way.
but then we're gonna do another 6 months.
So it's
If
6
he
months.
violates it within
realistic.
that, if he violates it within the 6 months, then we're gonna have an issue then, and we're gonna have to really.
the thing is, I really don't think we need to do it, because if he violates it, is an issue. But I like it that if he violates it, that we actually remove the right to park there, is what you're saying, suggesting. And
Let me
It's a great idea.
Violates what? The working on trucks, the idling
Correct, all the
trucks?
noise, most of all the complaints here is
If we
about the
have-
noise on Saturdays, Sundays, and, of course, idling late at night.
If we have more legitimate complaints, we would remove the right.
That isn't enough complaints sitting in front of you? There's gotta be 30, 40 complaints I gave you.
But it sounded like there was a lot of compromise in this room.
I don't, we have one written complaint, and we got a couple of people in the room here to say there's an issue, but I also have 4 neighbors saying it's not an issue, so I'm listening to everybody here.
Well,
And we're not done. Is there anybody else who'd like to speak? Please.
Do you want me to come up to the podium?
Please, yes. No, everybody's opinion counts here. We're trying to make the neighborhood better for all of you.
Erin Hedges, 18 Village Avenue. I live directly behind the property, and I started complaining about the property to the town in 2019.
Okay?
My house has been in my family since 1967. This was never a problem before then. And as far as me, speaking up here, I just want to second what the other neighbors that are complaining said. I don't really have like a big speech to give, but that's it.
It's a problem because of the noise of the working?
Yes.
Do you have a problem with the parking as well?
I don't have a problem with him parking that truck there. I didn't even know that that was the rule. that he
Obviously,
couldn't
he's
have-
got to start it up for a few minutes before he
Yeah.
pulls out.
I don't have a problem with that.
Yep.
It's the working.
Yep.
It's the noise, the working, the fumes. And
fumes
we
are still
did,
gonna come when he starts it.
right, but he can't run it for more than 5 minutes by the law.
And
So there's enough
he
air.
should be running it just to get air in his things and pull out.
Right.
And I think he's gonna get the picture because he don't want it to go away. We're hearing neighbors say it's a nice truck, it's there, he wants to keep it where he can keep an eye on it and stuff. So I'm a little on the fence thinking it's not necessarily a bad thing. And I love Chucky's suggestion that if there's more complaints in the next 6 months, we just pull the thing.
And I have to say, we did have a private meeting with them, and they have been a lot more considerate since we had that meeting, and I do appreciate that.
Great.
So, yeah, I don't have a problem with them parking the truck on there. I just have a problem with all the noise and the odors.
Okay.
It
you.
seems from is that Mr. Freites is a neighbor that will work with you.
I'm willing to approve the parking of that truck, no excessive idling, no working on the truck. I mean,
Or any other trucks.
Yeah.
But, I was gonna say,
The parking is for your truck, because it's your home, and this board is sympathetic to the fact that you want to keep it at your home. But it's not, you cannot run the business out of there. You can't work on these things, you can't have other guys pulling in and out of there and making problems for your neighbors. The motorcycles, I see 2 more people want to speak.
Guy's number plate. Maybe we just
Yeah.
preaching on that.
Whichever one of you guys want to step to the podium,
I'm
please.
sorry, it's only gonna take a second. Like I say, the big thing is the working in it, for me, anyway. And I tell you, I noticed a difference already. I gotta give him credit, I'm not even sure if he's the one that drives that beautiful big red truck. But when he leaves in the morning, I can hear him shifting, nice and quiet, he's beautiful, you know. That's if it's him driving or somebody else, I don't know. Coming back, that might be a little bit of a different story. Like I say, the use of the Jake brake is a pain in the ass. I'm sorry, you know.
Jake brakes aren't allowed in town, just so everybody knows.
But that's what I was doing, at least give him credit for him.
Please curb that and
He
stop
sounds
the
like he's
neighbors.
trying anyway the past few weeks, so.
I thought of
Please.
something else. If it is approved, does that mean that he could have the refrigerated truck on there also, because that does run?
No, it doesn't, it's empty all the time.
I think this board was gonna say that absolutely
There'll be
not.
several complaints of it running in that police lot
Okay.
there.
So, Chuck, if you're gonna make a motion, I would strongly suggest that we make it that there's no noise when these trucks aren't leaving the driveway. I mean, definitely no refrigerated use.
Can I just do a quick thing? I won't be.
No, go ahead.
So when you say complaint, do we see a complaint from one person?
Well, this is the other thing I was gonna.
I do apologize,
That's fine,
but
if
if
one person's complaining
Because
30
in 6
times.
months, everybody's gonna get together and just start calling, complaining, and
Yeah,
to shut them down
that's-
anyways. But it has to be
that's-
legitimate.
Well,
fair.
no, the only reason we're considering this is because I'm hearing the neighbors say that
It's
it's
noise.
really not
The parking.
the parking.
It's the noise.
So,
The hammer.
It's the noise and the fumes.
I got,
So I'm concerned
When
about
he lights off that truck, you
anything.
can see it right over the top of the trees.
Yeah, so the fumes are
And that's
definitely
during the
big
summer,
for me,
it's not
yes.
cold.
So as long as you're pulling it in, or if you're starting up for 5 minutes, I think anybody can live with
Move
that.
out as quick as you
And then get out as quick as you can. But stuff running continuously, I don't want that to happen. So those are the two things. As long as you're not working and there's not a lot of continuous running, then I would be good with it, as long as.
I make that motion again.
there's a motion made to allow the parking for one
No reefers, you said.
18-wheel vehicle tractor-trailer combination, one tractor-trailer combination, not excessive trailers, not another truck, not any other trailers, none running at all, other than when they're warming up to take off in the morning and when you pull them in and shut them down. There's a motion on the floor, and was there a second?
I'll second it.
There's a motion and a second. This is for a 6-month trial period. If we do have complaints, we are looking to basically take away the right to park that truck there, because it isn't granted by law, it's granted by the board here, and we're willing to take a chance on you, so,
One comment, Mr. Chair.
please.
I just want to make sure through you that, Mr. Freites, that includes that black 10-wheeler, okay, that we've had problems with.
Black
Please.
10-wheeler.
Yep, I've got photo library of it since December. It comes periodically. It's not there
That's
frequently.
me.
Okay.
But you
that-
can't have two.
You can't have two. So I
So-
just want to make sure you understand that part of it.
You,
That's him coming in.
Let me
flush.
just make sure, because I'm on probation.
any other vehicle in that yard should have a regular plate on it and be a car. You can't have another truck, period, with a commercial plate.
I just wanted to ask a question and get an honest answer while everybody's in his room. I told you, if that one truck is gone,
Yep.
let me rephrase that. One truck, whether it's pink, yellow, green, painted like.
True
a
story.
One
You're allowed one truck.
One truck, I'm understanding that correctly.
Basically, by saying 18-wheeler, we allowed you one truck unlimited. But it doesn't, you still can't do the 1-ton and it, or the 6-wheeler and it, or the this and it. It's one commercial vehicle, but up to whatever size, basically, can be there without us getting,
Right, so if the 18-wheeler is not there and he's in a triaxle.
and he wants to bring.
That's one truck.
Correct. Bring home whatever truck you want,
Not
but
one license plate.
minimize it
It's
at
one
one.
commercial.
As far as you, I do come in with that black, it's an 18-wheeler.
Okay.
But like I said, I came in there, I was working at the Keating plant to get a sandwich, and I got a ticket.
If you have another vehicle in the yard, you
There
need
was no
a,
other vehicle there,
Yeah.
but neither here nor there. 'Cause I understand,
okay?
I understand.
So there is a motion and a second, and I think I'd like to vote on it if we're all ready. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank
So
you.
moved. I do hope the entire neighborhood prevails by this.
Yes, I hope that everybody's honest, and if you are gonna start a complaint, then it's totally legit, you know, that's all.
Thank you for
Give it a
listening to us.
chance, okay?
I've got this log here if you want it
Yeah.
back. I don't want to take your paperwork. I think things are gonna improve for you. If they don't, you come see us, okay? Thank you. I think this is gonna
My living, I'm smaller than you. I'm not gonna be. Chico did, the town and buying an order.
Andy's on your side. And I have his back. I have his back. If there's any
All right, young lady, thank you. All right, guys, thank
Well,
you.
All right.
I saw that and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I showed Tim, I said, hey, I said, look at this one.
See what happens, right? I mean,
You can hang on to that. Thank you. And this is only, you go.
I'm easy to get a hold of. You can.
Yeah, okay.
Okay?
And as far as the other neighbors, one of them owned the trucking company, so.
All right. Good luck. Hopefully everybody.
Any future
Make a
business?
motion to close the meeting?
We are, both our cases are adjourned. We do have a date that we set,
18th. Done at the 18th.
July 23rd,
23rd.
6:30
Yeah,
will be our next
Yeah, I can,
meeting. We do have a case for that evening.
just,
And,
I'll be away that week.
okay,
And I call
Try to
him
make
and
sure
say,
we
I
have a
wanna
quorum.
make it
You're gonna be away
which
till
is-
23rd.
Yeah.
Once a month or twice a month I come in there.
and there was a motion to adjourn.
Rings to you.
Is there a second?
Yeah. I second.
All in favor? So moved. We are adjourned.